The second episode begins with two men riding out to the dig site together. The white man carries a revolver and boasts to his partner, Budge, about how he took it from someone. The pair ride to the edge of a ravine, where Budge grabs a bag and suddenly chokes his comrade. With the boastful man unconscious, Budge pushes the truck over the edge, watching it tumble down before dumping a digger's worth of dirt on top of him, burying him alive. The muffled sound of the car horn soon fades, giving way to deathly silence. In the present, Joe heads to the station after his unsettling encounter with the dead body. It's clear the incident has rattled him. The coroner confirms that the victim is Kata, and it's not a pretty sight. There's evidence of foul play, including scratch marks on the victim's cheek. The coroner suspects the murder weapon may have been something similar to a small claw hammer. However, the depth of the cuts suggests something more personal. Joe is preoccupied with the significance of the arrowhead he pulled from the victim's mouth, an act akin to desecration. This could mean that whoever did this has a vendetta against both boys. Realizing he must find George before it's too late, Joe's first stop is the dig site, where he meets Dr. Reynolds and Teddy. He delivers the bad news about Kata and shows them the arrowhead. The mood shifts instantly. Teddy, in particular, is devastated and leaves the scene in distress. Reynolds helps Joe examine the arrowhead and discovers that it's actually a fake, clearly machine-made, given its precise cut, and ultimately worthless. However, it remains a key piece of evidence. As Joe leaves with the arrowhead, Reynolds promises to bring George to him if he shows up. Meanwhile, Teddy can be seen driving away, struggling to hold back deep sobs. There's definitely something going on. Back at the station, Sylvia continues to be a thorn in Joe's side, perhaps even an arrowhead. "Sorry, I'll see myself out." She questions Emma, who is quite impressed that a woman like Sylvia has made it into the FBI. In fact, Emma has even invited her over for dinner. Joe isn't sure it's a good idea, but Emma dismisses his concerns, saying they're just being nice. Meanwhile, Jim Chi continues his investigation, looking into Shorty by questioning the Balogun family. Eventually, Shorty is arrested on suspicion of being involved, as his alibi doesn't check out, and he has a long rap sheet. The key piece of evidence is a bloody hoof knife found in his barn, something the officers were led to by a trail of ants. However, when tested, the blood turns out to be from a horse, not a human. Without a confession or a definitive murder weapon, they have no choice but to let Shorty go. While this is happening, Bernadette continues her investigation, taking photos of the Spencer oil rigs from the hilltops. Tom Spencer approaches her, questioning why she's taking pictures and even offering to take her down for a closer look. Tom is clearly a skilled marksman and seems more involved in all of this than previously thought. He tells Bernadette that his family started working in oil back in 1850 and that he has deep political ties. However, Bernadette isn't fooled. She notices new plates on a white van in the garage and refuses to take no for an answer. Although she doesn't find anything suspicious at the moment, she's relentless. Now that she has a lead, she won't let it go anytime soon. Back at Border Control, Bernadette learns that the Spencers are responsible for a third of the intelligence received. The people she works with are hesitant to provoke them, fearing repercussions. She calls the Navajo Police Department, hoping to speak with Joe, but instead reaches Jim Chi. Their conversation is brief, but Bernadette tells him it's nice to hear his voice. Later, Bernadette inspects a Spencer oil tanker. Tension rises between her and the drivers, especially when she notices their New Mexico driver's licenses. However, there doesn't seem to be anything suspicious about what they're transporting. Meanwhile, Jim Chi visits Shorty at his ranch and finds him whistling in his barn. Despite their past conflicts, Jim still doesn't believe Shorty is innocent. However, he does learn that George is hiding out at Shorty's cabin. Jim alerts Joe, and together, they head to the cabin with Shorty. Outside, the horses are spooked, sensing something is wrong. Joe cautiously steps inside to investigate. Suddenly, chaos erupts, Shorty falls to the ground, a gunshot rings out, and Joe curls up in the corner, terrified. He has just seen something, a monster charging at him. George is nowhere to be found, but Joe, shaken, utters, "It's real."